Hello, my name is Tracy Malls. I'm an advisor here at Temple University. I work in the Division of University Studies. I've worked at Temple for over 12 years now and seen the campus grow and change. And I'm so excited to present to you today. And then at the end, I will share some email information for you if you would like to email us some questions. We're happy to answer questions individually. But we hope that you get a lot out of this presentation, and we hope that you have a chance to sort of see all the wonderful things Temple has to offer, specifically for undeclared students, and why we think it's great to be undeclared at Temple. The first thing, again, I'm going to talk about being undeclared at Temple. Like I just said, it's really a great way to start at the university. Lots of students have trouble sort of narrowing down to one specific major. Sometimes they feel pressured to pick one. Sometimes they're just not ready to commit and they decide that they would rather be undeclared for the time being. We think it's a great first step because in often cases, students are not ready to commit or they aren't totally sure about their major. The second thing we're going to be talking about today is the major exploration process and sort of the things that we put in place in our office to assist students. What I want to communicate is that it's really very individualized and unique. We have 4 advisors that are devoted to undeclared students. All of us sort of have a passion for wanting to make sure that undeclared students get to the best major for them. And we do lots of different types of things to get students to that place. Third, we're going to talk about declaring your major, when that has to happen, what that looks like, explain that process a little bit. I'm also going to talk about the peer mentors and the peer advisors, who are both student workers in our office and each have a different role and offer sort of a unique service for our office. Our peer advisors are the face of our office. They are the first people you see when you come in. They are the first sort of student workers that the students see during orientation. They also see advisors during orientation, but peer advisors are trained on sort of helping students navigate that beginning part of their journey here at Temple in collaboration with the advisors. And then peer mentors are students who were formally undeclared themselves and have now declared a major and are ready to sort of volunteer and just give back to students who haven't figured out what they want to do yet. I'll talk more about both of those student workers later on in the presentation. So what is the Division of University Studies? It's a bit confusing sometimes for students when they come in. Temple uses lots of acronyms. We are DUS, which stands for the Division of University Studies. We're the home for students who are exploring majors. So for those of you who are completely undeclared, you're in the right spot. For those of you who are deciding between 2 majors, you're also in the right spot. We're really, like I said before, focused on each individual student and the unique situation that they're in and getting them to declare their major and really the best major for them in the time period that's best for them. We are the best choice if you're considering majors from different schools or colleges because we have access to courses in different schools and colleges. So as an example, if a student came in and they were interested in the Fox School of Business, but maybe they were also thinking about something in the medical field and also maybe something in the College of Liberal Arts like psychology. Some courses are offered to undeclared students. There are seats saved in those courses for undeclared students. So if you were declared as a theater major, but you wanted to explore and take a Fox School of Business class, you wouldn't be able to do that. If you're undeclared in the Division of University Studies, you would be able to take a theater class and also a Fox School of Business class. Or like I said before, you could take a course out of the College of Science and Technology if being a med student was something that you were interested in, or you could also take a course through the College of Liberal Arts, a psychology course. So we sort of help you navigate all of that. We don't want you taking 10 different courses in 10 different areas of interest, but if you're undeclared, you can sort of explore and take intro courses in a couple of different schools and colleges. So is it okay to be undeclared? We get asked this question all the time. People feel pressure to declare. People feel pressure to pick a major. In my opinion and my experience here at Temple, it's really the best place to be to start out as undeclared. There are 140 majors at Temple. So for the people who are completely undeclared, being in the Division of University Studies is really the best place to be because, like I just said, you can take exploratory courses or introductory courses in different areas. On average, students change their major 2 to 3 times over the course of their college career. So again, this is why it's really better to be undeclared, because oftentimes we'll have students who declare, and I'm picking on Fox again, but let's say they declare in the Fox School of Business and they realize a semester or 2 in that that's not really the best choice for them. If they had started out as undeclared, it might have been a better spot for them because they could have explored other areas. But we do serve those students as well. So if that's the case for anybody, if you end up changing your major and then coming into us later, we'll assist you as well. So after you've explored all of your options, you can confidently declare a major. What I like to tell to my students is really the best place, and we're going to get into this in a few minutes, but really the best place to start is by eliminating the things that you know you wouldn't want to do. And then we do different activities and different things along the way to continue to narrow that pool of majors so that you are pretty confident when you declare a major. Most of my students, once they've declared, feel like they've really picked the best major for them. Sometimes they decide that they also want a minor because they're not ready to eliminate a major completely, but they know that they can't do the full major for various different reasons, so they choose to minor in an area. Why DUS? So some of the things that we can do, we can provide academic counseling to help you develop an action plan. This basically means that we want you to take an active role in developing a plan, but we help you with that plan. So when you come in for orientation, which I'll talk about again throughout this presentation, you would explain to your peer advisors and to your professional advisors the majors that you're thinking about. We then would counsel you on what are the best courses to take based on the majors that you're interested in. We do like to teach you to take an active role in the major exploration process. What I tell many of my students is there is not a crystal ball. Oftentimes for people who come in undeclared, it is that elimination process that I just mentioned. It's picking the majors that you know you wouldn't want to pursue and then narrowing down that pool so that you can get to the point where you feel more confident. Typically, this doesn't happen overnight. You're not going to fall asleep, wake up the next day and say, yes, that's a major for me. The way that you do this is by taking an active role, and we collaborate with you in helping you. So I'll say to a student, if you want to come back next week, I'll see you next week. And in between that time, this is some homework that you can do to help you narrow down the majors that you're thinking about. And I'll assign a task to that student in between our advising sessions. We are knowledgeable on all degree programs and requirements. The way that I like to say it is that we're not really experts in any one area, but we know a little bit about a lot of things. So if a student comes in and says, what's the difference between environmental studies and environmental science? I know some basic information. I know that an environmental science degree is going to require more science and math related courses, where an environmental studies degree is offered out of the College of Liberal Arts. It's going to require less math and science, but it also will require that the student take at least 2 levels of a foreign language. In terms of career paths and what the student would do with that degree, I would suggest things for that student to do to research. Different resources that they can use, different people they can talk to figure out which path would be better for them. We're also going to help you navigate campus resources. So when you come in your first semester at Temple, Temple's such a large school, it's really important to remember that you're not alone and that there are lots of things that are there to help you. We try to narrow down the things that first semester freshmen would use. So things like the Career Center, things like the Writing Center, the Student Success Center, the Wellness Resource Center, Tuttleman Counseling. There's specific resources that can be the most helpful to students in their first semester here at Temple and beyond. But in their first semester, there are so many things that everyone is sort of trying to overcome the transition to the university and trying to navigate the campus, trying to find their classes, trying to make new friends. We try to help you sort of navigate all of that. All right, so the DUS Advantage. Again, like I mentioned before, we do have access to many introductory courses that are otherwise restricted to majors only. So again, if you were declared as a theater major, you wouldn't have access to any Fox School of Business classes. However, if you're declared as an undeclared student in the Division of University Studies, we have access to some lower division business courses that are really the best first courses for students to take who are wanting to explore if business is right for them. You can take classes towards your desired major at a lower tuition rate. So we have the lowest tuition rate on the campus or of the schools and colleges at Temple. We also have the opportunity for you to participate in programs specifically designed for undeclared students. I'll get into what some of those are, but there's some programs that we've designed in our office, specifically the Major Exploration Academy, which I'll talk about, and the Peer Mentor Program, which I mentioned before, and I will explain more about what that is. Those are two programs that undeclared students can take advantage of, and they're sort of unique programs to our office and to Temple. So again, like I was saying at the beginning of the presentation, some common characteristics of undeclared students are: you're considering Temple because of its diverse academic options. I think this is true for a lot of people. Like I said, there's 140 majors here at Temple. Sometimes students choose Temple because they want to have options. Sometimes people have multiple interests and abilities. And to be honest, don't we all? We all have multiple things that we may be interested in or able to do. Our job as advisors is to collaborate with you and sort of narrow down what interests and abilities are going to tie to the best career path for you. Some other common characteristics are that students want to explore all options before making an informed decision. I've had many students over the years who aren't ready to commit for whatever reason, and we work through that. Some students are curious by nature, just curious individuals, and they're not ready to declare because they, again, want to explore some things. Other people haven't had much time to talk or think about specific majors. Some students go through middle school and high school and they're focused on their studies. They may have classes they like or classes that they don't like as much, but they really haven't put too much thought into the major exploration process or what major makes the most sense for them. And some people, like I said before, are interested in several majors. So maybe you're just interested in 3 or 4 majors and you haven't had a chance to pick or think about it, and you need a little bit more time. All right, so going back to our peer mentors, which I've mentioned a few times so far, our peer mentors are current declared students who were formerly undeclared. So essentially, these are people who are in your shoes. What they are trained to do is to share their major declaration journey, to talk about the challenges and successes of adjusting to Temple, and basically sort of help assist you in your exploration of Temple. They're a guide. They're trained to be a non-judgmental listener, a supporter, an encourager, a resource. This is a volunteer program for our office. These students are doing this out of the goodness of their hearts because they really want to help. They recognize in their interview process, when I'm interviewing them, every single one of them recognizes the difficulty of being undeclared in terms of not having a community of other people. So this was our way to create that community. So every undeclared freshman in the Division of University Studies is assigned to a peer mentor who is going to reach out to them multiple times during the first semester and in the spring semester and offer their support and meet them where they are. So this is an opportunity for you to connect with an upperclassman who this person has been in your shoes. So this is a picture of our peer mentors. Just looking at this list, we have a couple of Fox students. We have someone who plans to go to med school. We have a student that's a criminal justice major. We have 2 international students. This is a really great group of people. These are our current peer mentors. So we don't have somebody talking to you here today, but we can connect you with a peer mentor. Like I said, when you get to campus, we'll connect you with a peer mentor in September, and you'll be able to have an opportunity to ask all of your questions and hopefully get some great information from them. So going back to the major exploration process, in addition to peer mentors, I think peer mentors are a great source of knowledge in terms of that you might not be paired with someone who is has the same interests, major interests as you, but they've gone through that exploration process so they can share their journey with you. Other things to think about is to consider all of your options. It's important, again, to make sure you start by eliminating the things that you know you wouldn't want to do. And we'll do this with you during orientation. We'll also do this with you throughout the fall semester. Another thing to do is to research major requirements using lots of different resources, the bulletin being one resource. We'll go into that. But basically, looking at the major requirements. A major is a bunch of classes. You want to make sure that you like the classes that are listed under a major. Taking introductory courses. The way to explore an area is by talking with students, faculty, alumni, and professionals, which I'm going to mention in a minute, but also taking introductory courses. Taking a few courses if you're interested in the Fox School of Business, taking a course within the Fox School of Business to explore, to see what it's like to be in that type of class, to see what it's like to work with other students who are in that major, to have access to an instructor who is in that field, sort of get a feeling of, is this the right area for you? Again, talking to students, faculty, alumni, and professionals, talking to people is the most important thing that you can do. I can't stress this enough. If you are at Thanksgiving dinner and your aunt is an accountant and you think you might want to be an accountant, pull that person aside. Start having conversations with people. If you're really interested in teaching high school science and you're in a high school science class currently, see if you can meet with your instructor after the class and talk with them about how they got into the field. We'll coach you on this as you get here, but that's a really good way to get information that you wouldn't otherwise get is by talking with people who are in these fields. Meeting with your advisor. Like I said before, we'll meet with you as many times as you need to meet with us. I have students that just want to check in every few weeks or every month. I have students who I see once a semester. I have students who email me. You know, we're here to assist you. I went to grad school to become an advisor, a counselor. You know, this is something that I'm really passionate about, as are the other undeclared advisors. We want to make sure that we meet you with where you are and we assist you on your journey. And then we'll also talk with you about declaring your major, which has to be done by 60 credits. I'll get to that slide in a minute. Oh, here we go. Okay, so when do you have to declare your major? The declaration of major policy. Students have to declare by the time they earn 60 credits. This includes any transfer credits, so any AP, IB, or transfer credits that you're going to send into Temple. 60 credits is typically by the end of your sophomore year, so it's really, you have 4 semesters. It doesn't mean that you have to wait 4 semesters. If you know after your first semester, that's great. If you don't know after your first semester, we will assist you. We will make sure that we help you sort of see where you're at and what things you need to do to get to the best major fit for you. All right, so peer advisors are a diverse group of current undergraduate students. Our peer advisors are wonderful. They sit at our front desk, as I mentioned before. They go through an extensive training similar to the training that professional advisors get on Temple's policies and the curriculum here. We have a curriculum training every year, the beginning of the summer, where we understand from different schools and colleges their requirements, the best intro courses. They talk to us about what these majors are at Temple, the types of people that should go into different majors. We get a lot of information, and the peer advisors are a part of all of that. They assist students during summer orientation. So again, like I said before, you'll see a professional advisor. You'll also see peer advisors. Peer advisors are navigating the systems themselves as students. So in some ways, they have even more knowledge or a different set of knowledge than the professional advisors do because they are current students. They also provide year-round academic and administrative support. So they sit up at our front desk. Like I said, when you come in, you can ask them where a particular building is on campus. If you're lost, they'll tell you where to go. They know the campus a lot better than some of the professional staff. They're just really a great group of students and a great resource. This is a picture of our peer advisors. I think one of our peer advisors is going to talk about her experience right now, and then I'll continue the presentation.
Hi everyone, my name is Lisa and I'm a peer advisor at the Academic Resource Center, and I've worked here for the past 2 years. I also came through university studies as a freshman. Coming in, I was interested in communication sciences and disorders as well as business. The office helped guide me through my major exploration experience, and I ended up declaring communication sciences and disorders as a major with a business minor. Thanks to all the resources offered, the process became much more productive and enjoyable. Now I work as a peer advisor and help students through that same process. As peer advisors, we are able to answer almost all questions about university policy and any questions about campus life, such as food and housing options, among other things. Over the summer, we meet with each incoming university studies student and sit down with them during orientation. We talk to them about what interests them and help them find majors and classes that they can explore to guide them towards declaring a major. During the school year, we man the front desk at our office, taking phone calls and scheduling appointments. In the fall semester, we will meet with first-year students again in group advising, where we help plan courses for the spring in a more hands-off approach to review registration procedures. We are looking forward to meeting everyone at orientation. Thanks.
So some steps for success: being proactive and getting involved to ease your transition. This is really important, to be proactive. Meeting with your advisor and your peer mentor. It's important that you do these things. When somebody reaches out to you, it's important that you email them back and meet with them. We do not send out tons of emails, but we want to make sure that we have access, you have access to us, and that we're here for you. Learning some time and stress management and study skills. Essentially, what this means is to help ease your transition, understand that it can be stressful to start your first semester in college. We recognize the fact that this is a transition period for all of you, but it's really important for you to identify the time and stress management techniques that are going to work for you and the study skills. The students that I've seen over the years that end up not being successful at Temple are often the people that are just simply not spending enough time studying. It's really important that you spend enough time. We'll talk with you again about this during orientation. Another thing to ease your transition is to get involved in student organizations. So essentially, this is meeting with other students and going to organization meetings. Some of these things are connected to majors that you might be interested in, but they also have student organizations for other things. Maybe you're really interested in gardening and you want to get involved in a gardening organization. There's almost an organization for everyone here. Maybe you're an international student and you want to get connected to other international students. There's an organization for that. So just keep that in mind as you're transitioning. You can also get involved in student organizations that are connected to academic programs. So for example, the Fox School of Business has a student professional organization for each major that they have through the Fox School of Business. You can attend the meeting, you can ask questions, you can sort of see what other students are in that organization and see if you feel like you might fit in that group. That's another way to explore majors. Gaining experience. This is something that's really, really important. I don't want to stress this in terms of that you have to do this in your first semester, but as I mentioned before, talking to people in different fields, getting exposure to different things, volunteering, doing internships, doing work study, those are all great. I don't want you to feel like you have to do that right away in your first semester. There's a lot that you have to transition to Temple in your first semester. So don't feel like you have to do that right away, but keep that in the back of your mind as an opportunities that you might want to pursue later. Conducting an informational interview. Some people don't know what an informational interview is. Essentially, this is a list of questions that we could provide to you that you take to someone in an area of interest. So if I was considering psychology as a major, I would go to my academic advisor and I would talk to them about psychology as a field. They could give me some resources. They might also be able to suggest a particular person in the Department of Psychology that I could take this list of questions to and ask them. How did you get into the field of psychology? What's it like for a current graduate in the field of psychology? What types of careers are there for people in the field of psychology? We have this list of questions developed and we can counsel you on how to conduct an informational interview. This is, you don't have to take an entire class. You can just get exposure by meeting with somebody for a half an hour. Another thing you could do is shadow an individual in a career of interest. It's also a great idea to actually see that person in action. We can talk about that when you come in for orientation or when you come in the fall semester, but just sort of know that these are different ways that you can gain experience. This is a picture of Kristen, myself, Irina, and Abby. We are all the undeclared advisors here at Temple who work for the Division of University Studies. If you would like to email dus@temple.edu, that email is always available. If you think of something on Saturday at 4 o'clock and you want to email it, that email is always available to you. My personal email is Tracy, Tracy, .malz, MALZ @temple.edu. I'm also happy to answer individual questions. I'm so happy that you were able to join us today. We're also happy to schedule phone appointments if you have specific questions that you feel like would be better answered in a live conversation. We also have the capacity to Zoom. If you would like to see the person that you're talking to, we can always email about that. I'm happy to do that with you, as are the other advisors in our office. Thank you so much for listening to this presentation. I want to communicate to you how much I love working at Temple, how much I think Temple is a wonderful place to be with the 140 majors that we have. We have lots of great things going on around campus, lots of great places to eat. There's a new library on campus. So we hope that you get to join us soon and see the campus in action. It's really a special place to be during the busy part of the semester when there's lots of students. It's bustling. There are so many people around, and we hope that you can see that. So thanks for listening, and I hope that we can answer any questions that you have. Have a great day.